Recently, I've been watching all 6 of the original mainline Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel series, and I got to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's, and it got me thinking about the Signer Dragons and some of the interesting things behind the scenes. And thinking about the Signer Dragons got me started thinking about another group of dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime history that is also pretty big and important, the Dimension Dragons. So, for anyone who's out of the loop, the Signer Dragons from 5D's. Originally, there were supposed to be 5 of them, but there became 6 of them due to the simple popularity of Crow. Yes, Crow's popularity caused them to wind up rewriting the entire series because he was originally supposed to betray Yusuke. He was supposed to be the first friend gone bad in the anime, and he was going to betray Yusuke. They were going to have a whole thing. He was going to be a Dark Signer. I think he was supposed to get the bird. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I'll flash it up on screen. But that resulted in a change. There became, instead of 5 Ds, 6 Signer Dragons. Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Red Rose Dragon, Lifestream Dragon, and Crow's Dragon, the Black Winged Dragon. In Arc 5, there are 4 Dimension Dragons that are supposed to be used by the 4 U-Boys as their representation of their peeing pieces of Zark, right? You've got Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, and Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. All 4 corresponding to a different type of summoning mechanic. Unfortunately, there's no ritual, but hey, what are you going to do? It got me thinking, these are important cards in these 2 animes. Obviously, they're going to have a lot of support in the game. So, which set of dragons has more support in the actual card game itself? Immediately, there was a logistical problem, right? Like I said, there are 6 Signer Dragons and only 4 Dimension Dragons. So, to kind of even things out a little bit, I'm going to make a quick call here, and I'm going to add on Odd Eyes Dragon, the unpendulum version of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon that we see in the first episode before it evolves into Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And I'm also going to include Supreme King Zark, the final big bad fusion of all 4 of the Dimension Dragons. And the final, form of the 4 U-Boys from Arc 5. Let's set up what I'm going to be looking for here. I'm going to be looking at any and all upgraded forms. I'm going to be looking at any and all downgraded forms, because if we're just doing that, Lifestream Dragon only gets 1 form. And technically, Power Tool Dragon is Lifestream Dragon, but it's downgraded and trapped in the suit of armor. There's a whole thing. I don't remember. I haven't gotten that far into 5Ds yet to remember why he's like that. We're going to include any retrained variants. Red Dragon Archfiend's got 3, I believe, Hot, Scar Red, and or Scarlight and Scarred. So those have to be accounted for. We're gonna include any combinations of the dragons, which is kind of important for the 4 Dimension Dragons more than the Signer Dragons, because as you can guess, being 4 pieces of the same dude, they kind of combine in different ways throughout the different ones. I'm also going to include any variants from the manga, because obviously these cards all have manga counterparts, and their manga counterparts also have upgraded versions, which we will also be counting. We've got a pretty long list ahead, but I also want to set another real quick ground rule. It's shown in the Yugi Wiki, or the Yugipedia, which is where I got a lot of these from, that there's 6 different versions of Odd Eyes Dragon, the original Odd Eyes Dragon, not Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And I just want to say right now that all 6 of the element versions are not going to be accounted for. I am taking exactly 2 though, which we will get into later, as well as a 3rd form that is believed to be the actual true evolved form if it hadn't gone pendulum. With that said, let's dive in with the very first set of these dragons, the Signer Dragons, and see what they have. Starting off with the Signer Dragons, we have the aforementioned Core 6, as well as Power Tool Dragon, Shooting Star Dragon, Cosmic Blazer Dragon, Cosmic Quasar Dragon, Shooting Quasar Dragon, Red Nova, Red Supernova, Ruddy Rose, Blackwing Assault, Power Tool Braver, the assault modes of Stardust and Red Dragon Archfiend, Majestic Star Dragon, Shooting Majestic Star, Majestic Stardust, or Malefic Stardust, rather, Scarlight and Tyrant Red Dragon, Excel Synchro Stardust, Scarred Dragon Archfiend, which my brain constantly keeps wanting to say a Scar Red. I know it's supposed to be Scarred, but that is such an awkward naming choice. Just put a space. Put it Scar Red Dragon Archfiend. Scarred Dragon Archfiend does not work right. Shooting Riser, Red Rising, Ancient Pixie, Black Rose Moonlight, Black Feather Dark Rage, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Spark, Power Tool Mecha Dragon, Stardust Chronicle Spark, Stardust Cypher Divine, Hot Red Dragon King Archfiend Abyss, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, giving us a whopping total of 38 for the Signer Dragons, with an overall breakdown of 15 Stardust, 12 Red Dragon, 3 Black Rose, 4 Lifestream, 2 Ancient Fairy, and 3 Blackwing Dragon. Now, that is a really, really big lineup, really crazy, and you'd expect something like that from something as iconic as the Signer Dragons, the things that were meant to bring in all of like the synchros and whatnot and get people interested in synchros. So let's see how the Dimension Dragons hold up. With the Dimension Dragons, we have the Core 6 once again, as well as Odd Eyes Advance, Beast Eyes, Brave Eyes, and Rune Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Dark Requiem Xyz, Odd Eyes Raging, Odd Eyes Rebellion, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord, Odd Eyes Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, Supreme King Zark Synchro Universe, Odd Eyes Arcray, Crystal Wing Synchro, Crystal Clear Wing Synchro, Odd Eyes Wing Dragon, Greedy Venom Fusion, Odd Eyes Venom, Odd Eyes Lancer, Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, Starving Venom Predapower Fusion Dragon, that's a freaking mouthful and a half, Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum, Arc Rebellion Xyz, the Supreme King variants of all 4 Dimension Dragons, Odd Eyes, Dark Rebellion, Clearwing, and Starving Venom, as well as Double Iris, Black Fang, White Wing, Purple Poison, and Performapal Celestial Magicians, Odd Eyes Saber Dragon, Wizard Dragon, Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon, and Phantasma Dragon, Dark Antilion Dragon, Clearwing Fast Dragon, Starving Venomy Dragon, Starving Venomy Lethal Dose Dragon, All Eyes Phantom Dragon, and the newly announced Crystal Clear Wing Over Synchro Dragon. What is with these names, dude? Y'all need to abbreviate some of this crap, because that is ridiculous. Also, side note, when do you think we're getting the Zark XCs? Because I'm going to tell you straight out, I did not think we were getting a Zark Synchro. That was kind of cool. But anyway, the overall breakdown for the Dimension Dragons comes out to 16 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons, 6 Dark Rebellions, 7 Clear Wings, 7 Starving Venoms, 5 of the regular Odd Eyes, and then 5 of the Supreme King Zarks. The total number is 47, meaning that in a question that no one but myself has asked, the answer is the Dimension Dragons. But let's actually take a second and consider why. Why is it the Dimension Dragons? Why is it that the Dimension Dragons have more support than, or more variants than the regular Signer Dragons? The Signers were here first. Why don't they have 47 cards? Well, let's actually talk about it for a second. So why are the Signer Dragons not as well represented as the Dimension Dragons? Well, I think a lot of it comes down to the 2 separate eras that the game was in when these dragons came out. The Dimension Dragons are much more recent, they're much newer. They have archetypes they're latched onto. You've got Odd Eyes and Performapal, you've got Clear Wing and Speedroids, you've got Starving Venom and Predaplants, you've got Dark Rebellion and Phantom Knights. Whereas during 5Ds, especially early 5Ds, the concept of an archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was not really there. A lot of the Signer Dragons are very generic. The only one I think that is technically part of an archetype originally is a Lifestream Dragon, and by extension Power Tool Dragon, because they're part of the Morphtronics. And eventually, a lot of them did get archetypes in the long run. Like, we got a couple Stardust monsters, some generic stuff for that. We got an entire archetype for Black Rose Dragon. Technically, again, you've got Synchrons for the Red Dragon Archfiend, but that's more arguable because Synchrons aren't solely used for Red Dragon Archfiends. Like, you can make a Synchron deck do Synchron deck do basically anything.
Hey guys, it's me editing this right now, and I wanted to offer a quick correction here. I meant to say Resonator. I don't know why I said Synchron, and I don't know why I never corrected myself. But yeah, if you're listening to this, I meant to say Resonator and not Synchron. That's my B.
So it's a little bit more questionable on that one. Another thing too, a second big point for why the Dimension Dragons are more represented than the Signers is that the Dimension Dragons and our users are, again, technically part of the same character. All four of the wielders are part of Zark. Obviously, there's going to be more hybrid forms. Odd Eyes Speed Dragon, Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, Odd Eyes Rebellion, Odd Eyes Raging, all those different variants and whatnot. It's, that's probably one of the big reasons for it. I also think that if you look at it overall, there's probably more meta relevance with the Dimension Dragons than the Signer Dragons. Like, Red Dragon Archfiend was a really good generic level 8 synchro. Ancient Fairy had its time in the sun, especially when we had some really broken field spells running around. Stardust, pretty solid generic option for a quick negate. But overall, I think that, Dark Rebellion was pretty good for a while. The entire Performapal archetype, I don't know if they ran Odd Eyes in the more meta builds, but that was a huge thing. There was a whole tier 0 format for that. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon very much is still a pretty heavy meta staple. Starving Venom gets thrown around a lot. The Supreme King variant was really good before it got banned. So I think meta relevancy plays a lot of a big factor in the longevity of the type staying active. The Dragon series, it's not technically an archetype, but I guess it pays a tribute for them staying active in the public consciousness some more. Yeah, that's kind of just the entire point of this video. I just was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's the other day, and this popped into my head, and I was like, hey, you know what? Let's make a video about it. Why not? It would be an interesting topic. I do have another big project coming out for Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know when that'll be out, though. It'll either be out before the end of this year or early into next year. I haven't decided yet. I mean, it's not I haven't decided yet. I've got 3 more whole series of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have to watch. So however long that winds up taking, that's fun. But I shouldn't be mean about it. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's one of my favorite series of all time. So beyond that, I don't really have much planned. I'm going to start working on the Halloween special for this year, though. But I will see you guys in the next video.